And it looks like we are live. Hey, 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 hey. Exercise every day. Folks, exercise is mandatory. Get that into your head, and I'm going to get it into your head in the most positive and peaceful way possible. No screaming, no slogans, no spandex, no garbage like that. I'm just here to help you form a healthy habit, which is that you need to exercise every day. Every day, folks. It's not like some days back in the day when we were hunter-gatherers, you're just like, I'm just going to take the day off. If you did, you'd starve, right? Things haven't really changed so fundamentally in 200 years, other than after industrialization, machines have taken all the heavy lifting away from us and have created a whole bunch of problems for us mentally because we're not as occupied as we used to be. We're getting distracted by all these ancillary elements in society that don't really mean a whole lot for our basic subroutines in our brain. You've got to exercise, folks. It keeps you on the straight and narrow, and that's why I am here to endorse it 129,000% to all of you people out here. It's something that you might be able to do at an office, something to do at your desk, for instance. Go to a cubicle, into the bathroom and do these exercises. You don't have to do many. You don't have to do it for as long as this video is, for instance. You can do just a few, and basically it's like inflating a bicycle tire. You're pumping blood up around your muscles through your system, increasing your blood pressure. And Jazz is back from his wedding. I think you're still in Sydney though. Hopefully Chris Jakes had a good time. That deserves a happy life, that's for sure. He's a very nice guy. And Ben in the house as well. Awesome, folks. So it's storming here today. The gods are angry with all the Philistines that don't exercise every day. So I'm glad that you guys are here to repent, because if not, the Lord would have come down on you with I can't remember the line, Samuel L. Jackson, with furious anger. Anyway, I won't give out a sermon here. I will put on my functional heart rate strength training. I put on my floor cam today to do some push-ups as well, just on touching on the other night. The bad touch on the other night. I figured I'll just give some pointers for that, Ben, to show you what I used to instruct people whilst I'll be getting back into it, and hike up my shorts so I don't split my pants. And let's get cracking, folks. So on the clock, tuck in my annoying mic, I'll have to sort that out. We're doing squats. Now, if you don't know what a squat is, that means you haven't been startbuilding.me, and you're one of the Philistines that I've been speaking about. Just joking, folks. It's a very quick thing to be able to pick up, since you do it every day when you're sitting at the edge of the bed, sitting on your desk and have to stand up, sitting down onto a toilet. There's no way that 99% of the people can say that they don't do this and don't understand it on a very fundamental level, like I call from the 4 stages of competence, unconscious incompetence, which means you don't really know how you're doing it conceptually, you just do it. It's just a motor reflex. I've got bad indigestion. I just saw the time whilst watching Tottenham versus Manchester repeat and just necked a whole bunch of tea. Seemed like a good idea at the time. It most certainly was not. So, what is a squat? I'll have instructional videos on this, but until then, it's good for me to practice in front of a camera, hassling people and drilling it into their head as well. Because it's something that I've noticed even over the last 2 weeks from being Start Building Me again. I've been noticing that, wow, even my coordination's still improving, folks. And I've been squatting barbell squats at least since I was 17 years old, probably a little bit earlier, 15 or something, but not really seriously until I was 17. So, you're sitting back into your heels, folks. The weight's going to the outside of your feet. I really notice that the better you get the technique down of the weight going to the outside of your feet, not only is it better for your knees to hinge, but it stops you twisting like that. But what you'll find is if the weight's going to the outside of your feet properly, you'll feel you get way more tension in your glutes. The glute activation is something that most people fail with squats. And it's only been a recent trend that people like walking around with massive hindquarters, massive dump truck butts that you see people, it's like a fashion thing that people are doing, even surgical procedures, Brazilian butt lifts, and Kardashians injecting body fat and stuff into their arse cheeks. It's ridiculous. But anyway, before this fad, powerlifters and rugby players always had big asses as well because they squat a lot. So the real way to engage that glute, which is a big part of a squat, like I said, it's the elastic band at the bottom that will bring you back up. Make sure that that weight is going to the outside of your feet. And when you're in this position, femur bone 90 degree, parallel to the ground, that's where as deep as you want to go. You'll feel if the weight is nicely pressing through your toes, through the outside of your feet, into your heels, you'll really feel that slingshot feeling in the bottom. And it will make the move infinitely easier because you'll be coordinating more of those muscles in your posterior chain properly instead of relying on just one of those muscle components to do the heavy lifting, right? So coordination is important, and that's what I want to drill in. My heart rate's already up to 100 BPM, up from about 65, so I'm going to keep repping out some more. 2, 3, 4, sitting into the heels. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Form sticklers having a go because my back is leaning over too much. That's fine. I'll do a sumo stance. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, I think that'll put my BPM and my heart rate up now. They say an optimal range for your 35 minutes of cardiovascular exercise a day, an intermediate or moderate BPM of about 120 to 140 BPM range. So I'm still working up to that 107 BPM. But as you can see, I'm struggling for breath, folks. I'm dying. Help me. Just joking. Don't send help. Unless it's the other kind of help, the professional help that you could probably send plenty of that to me. Just joking. I don't need that either. What I do need is to do more squats. More squats, folks. I'm going to try them wider. That actually felt good. Keep my back straight. It's like that basketball exercise that you used to do. I won't do that now because my dust collecting old body will explode. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, not even 10 minutes in now, I can tell you from how labored my breath is and what it feels like that this is like a 2.5 kilometer run, walk, sorry. So if you're just walking for 2.5 kilometers, you're not even going to be as exerted as this at 111 BPM. Wonder if that even shows up. Whatever. This is one element that is, I have no reason to lie to you folks. Showing you how unhealthy I am. Joking. I'm going to do a few more. I'm going to try and sustain that heart rate to show you what you should be sort of looking towards doing. Hopefully you guys have got a good night plan. I was watching some of the new Beavis and Butthead whilst looking at trade setups which suck at the moment, and watching Manchester United versus Tottenham on the other screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to do more. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Feeling good coordination. Oh man, that's getting up there. Feeling good. Feeling good. Kind of annoying to have a storm. I did my lawns yesterday though, so that was good. Got to do your lawns, folks. That's middle age for you. And what else has been happening today? Not a lot. So, well, as always, I had a deload day today. So when something doesn't feel quite right, or you wake up and you're just like, I don't wanna. Sometimes it can just be like, shut up and do it. Sometimes you gotta listen to that voice, so it can be kind of hard to realize which voice is which. Mate, 100%, and the dogs love it as well. So nice and green with a bit of rain, bit of nitrogen from the storm, it should be good. But, so 90% of the time, you not wanting to train is just your bone idle brain, and I get it as well. But 10% of the time, you'll notice that there's a bit of a fatigue in there as well, a bit of a tiredness. There's nothing wrong taking days off, folks, but split days and days off that people talk about at the gym, that's like an athlete thing. If you're an athlete, you need to do it, else you break. But if you're just a regular person, and I consider myself now a non-competitive athlete, and as a result, non-competitive means that I'll train every day. It's not like I have to take days off, I'll just deload. So instead of walking the dogs for 7 kilometers to 10 kilometers today, I'll walk them for a 3-1. They're shitty as, too bad. You're a dog. What are you going to do about it? You're going to take over the household? Well, they already have, so the answer to that is yes. But I didn't do any weights, I didn't do chin-ups. I changed the Epsom salts and water in my freezer tank, and put some hydrogen peroxide through that to clean up the water. So I haven't really done anything that I'd normally do. I cleaned up my garage and did some bits and pieces there, and that's why, like I said, I'm going to repent here as well and get some squats out. 10 minutes on the clock already, 12 minutes on the stream. Like I said, I'm just going to do maybe another 30 or 40 squats, and then show some fundamental and foundational push-ups, techniques and explanations. And I will be getting into that, but I want to split it up. I wanted to do stretching and push-ups in the morning, and then I'll do sort of squats and sort of coordination and posture sort of stuff, which I'll do here, which is in the evening, which I'd like to do anyway. So, but I just like to change it up every now and then and do a few push-ups and see how my wrists feel, basically. See how it's going. So now my heart rate's dropped back down to 80%. So what you try to do, if you've got a heart rate monitor, it can help. You just try and keep your heart rate going up, and then try to keep it there 20-30 minutes and let it drop down. So I'm going to put so until 15 minutes of stream, so another 2 minutes on the clock. I'm going to see how many I can do. And you don't have to do sets like this too. You can just do whatever cadence you want and breathe and see what you've got. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I won't count because it's annoying me as well. 10. So as you can see, by slowing down that cadence, you'll be able to breathe more, you'll be able to reoxygenate that blood. It will come easier rather than just repping it out fast and furious style. I think it's maybe 5 now. So that's 30 up with a minute left. Oh, 5 more. The most important exercise, folks, anything that makes your posture and walking better, it goes without saying. That feels like $1 million. I'm going to switch down to my floor cam now. There we go. Haven't used this guy in a while, so I figured I'd change it up. Start looking at this camera instead. So if you haven't done push-ups for a while, that's okay. I've got so many variations for everybody, folks. The most basic one, if you've never done a push-up before, is assume this sort of right angle position where you're literally just dipping your shoulders in, right? So you don't need much core stability. You're just dipping in, you're getting the blood pumping through your upper body, you're getting that flexion and extension. It is a push-up. Look, I'm pushing myself up. Don't worry what any of the people will be telling you. Oh, that's not a real push-up, that's not a strict push-up. Who cares? It's a way of pushing yourself up off the ground, folks. It's that simple. So we've got that method, which is the first thing. And look, sometimes I've been injured and I've smashed both of my shoulders. Right one I've done nerve damage, and the left one I've got a grade 3 AC ligament separation that I never had surgically fixed because the doctors, like I said, avoid surgeons like the plague. They love to cut. If you definitely need to get cut, then you got to do it. If you don't, really consider how important that muscle is. In the end, they basically told me it was for cosmetic reasons only, and I said forget it. Anyway, the next stage up from this push-up is you sort of walk your hands out a little bit further, right? So you're taking more of that upper body weight on and you're pushing yourself up. Now, this is when you can start focusing on proper technique. So you want your arms, your hands spread because you're engaging your fingers. It will send a message to your brain that you're doing something stronger. Your thumb points to the bottom of your chest or lines up with your nipple, whichever way is easier. Don't splay your arms out like that, like a chicken wing. They go back alongside your chest, right? Because you're using your tricep, which is a big part of your arm and a very strong moving muscle and very hard to damage, right? So you're lying on the ground, arms back, looking up. As always, it's a compound movement. There's a lot of elements, so it takes a while to go through those 4 stages of competence to get it, you know, into that nice conscious competence phase. So when you're at the bottom, you breathe in and push up. The reason you do that is because when you breathe in, you're creating tension in your upper body that will keep you stable for the movement. So you breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, now if you've got that all dialed in, you're a push-up man. I've been for a long time. I know both of you guys can both do push-ups, and whoever else is lurking there, hopefully you can too. Now, what you want to do is the same thing, but what you're doing this time in addition is you're digging your feet, your toes activate just like a squat into the mat, into the ground. Again, you're sending a signal, I'm about to do something that requires coordination. So, where does that message go through? Up through your legs into your butt. You get tension in your butt, folks. That will assist in your core stability. So when you're doing a push-up, you should really focus, if you're okay at a push-up now, really focus on digging your toes into the ground and keeping your butt as tense as possible. The way it was explained to me by a Czech military guy was it's basically a plank with movement, right? So you see a lot of people doing planks. Planks is all good for the core. To get good at a plank, you're tensing your butt basically the whole time. That's what will give you core stability. That's what a push-up is. It's just pushing the rest of your body up and down whilst you have your core activated. Looking up at the same time as well. And you're really using your triceps, folks. The wider your arm goes away, the more you're loading up that shoulder joint, the more you're going to damage your rotator cuff and every component in your shoulder. It will take a while to adjust to the tricep method, but you'll find in the end the tricep is such a difficult muscle to damage that you'll just be able to rep it out a lot more. Now don't feel daunted by this If you're still in this phase, folks, you're injured, never trained, have low upper body strength, hey, you got to start somewhere, folks. And you can start slowing it down and you'll feel yourself getting that coordinated tension in your arm, and that will be helping you as well. Starting to come down here now. Oh, good that I can lie on my floor, talk to the camera this way. No messages I've missed, that's cool. And yeah, as always, so German volume training, 10 repetitions, 10 sets. In the end, you get, 30 repetitions, 10 sets, and take a little bit longer with it, whatever you've got. To start off with, I felt a bit of pressure in my wrist, so I'm not going to do any more because I just wanted to see how it goes. I've been doing barbell work for a lot, bench press, and I haven't done many push-ups at all in like the last 2 months. And so I've noticed that I've got some poor wrist flexibility. I'm going to work on that. Something that I used to always say for startbuilding.me, which I haven't said in a long time, is, folks, if something hurts, like not just like it hurts because you haven't exercised a muscle, but you'll know it when it, like I tell my cousin, when something's wrong, you'll know about it. A sharp pain, a nerve pain, something that feels like it's doing damage, stop doing what you're doing. Do not do that exercise. And this is the hard part of training, folks. This is how the professionals really damage themselves, because your mind ends up being a lot stronger than your body and you'll go for broke. Go for broke, I think, is a gambling term, but it's essentially the same for sport. Going for broke, not only will you break yourself, but you'll be broke because you won't be able to play on a professional team anymore. So know when to stop, and that's why I just wanted to do a few, see how that felt. Maybe do some flexibility. I think it has something to do with the creatine that I've been supplementing. As Ben and I were talking about, as a nootropic for adenine triphosphate, or replenishment, which is also good for your brain. Creatine is the most tested supplement out there and has been really good. Maybe I think it's just inflated everything a little bit too much. Not too much, like I still feel good, but a little bit of flexibility is down. One positive side effect of creatine monohydrate, though, is that it really reduces the risks of tendon and ligament damage, muscle tears and stuff like that. So that's an important thing to note as well. I feel like $1 million though, so my regimen at the moment's awesome. I have iodine in the morning, magnesium at night. I supplement zinc, fish oil, omega triglycerides, omega triglycerides, omega-3, omega marine triglycerides. Mate, I think didn't get enough sun today. It's like the opposite of a heat stroke, maybe. Either that or just that old TBI that I've been accumulating for the last 20 years. Anyway, what do I got here? I do push-ups on my knuckles. It seems to save my crusty. Yeah, well, I used to do that as well. And once you've got that technique down as well, you're not going to buckle your wrists, and it's also good when you're going to come in contact with the bag. You're not going to sort of do something like that. You're always going to have that 90-degree contact when you go in for different combinations. So thanks for that, 100%. See, start building me. It's for me as well. Push-ups off the knuckles. That's awesome, man. I haven't done them in ages, and that's exactly how I get back into them. Yeah, drummers, mate. I can imagine it was just the tip of the iceberg for me for motocross, rock climbing, boxing, drumming, like everything that nails your wrist. So actually I'm going to try and do some more now like that, because I'm happy that the same thing applies. Tension in your butt, plank with movement. Thanks. Dig your toes in. Send your message to your brain. It's like, oh, I've got to do something hard. Sweet. See? I did more push-ups today than I did yesterday. That's what I'm doing. I'm competing against myself, folks. You can compete against me if you want, but it's futile. Just joking. It's just, what's the point? I want you to say, okay, I had a good crack. Oh, notice, I think my voice could be clipping again. That sucks. I'll have to play with that. Sorry if it's grinding out there with the headroom that I've got it set up at now. But folks, that's 22 minutes on the clock, 25 on the stream. I'm happy with that. I've got some blood pumping through. I'm gonna go scull the rest of that teapot of Russian Caravan tea, one of my personal favorites. I'll start speaking to the right camera as well. As always, thanks for pumping iron with me. Hope it feels good. I've got some veinage going on, very exciting. I'll do some more push-ups and sleep tonight listening to this storm. It's really cool. Last time I got some mad photos, so I'll try and do that. Have a good night, folks. Love you, bros.